Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome. Uh, if this is your first time, my name is Ty, and I've got a special something different for you tonight. We are going to try out. This is the first introductory episode 0 of the Metacast. Now, what this is my friend Distance and I are going to eventually start a podcast. And we were having the discussion of what the best subject matter or theme or purpose for the podcast should be. And in my experience, I'm one of my biggest downfalls is I am a perfectionist, and I try to hold on to projects way too long until they're quote unquote perfect before I release them or before I think they're ready. And with this, I want to get away from that. The whole goal is
We'll do it live.
yeah.
No, we'll do it live.
In the brilliant words of Bill O'Reilly, fuck it, we'll do it live. That's the idea that I had. Instead of sitting on the ideas and thinking too long and trying to come up with the perfect theme, I just want to do it. So what we're doing is we are creating a podcast that is the Metacast. It's a podcast about our podcast. Through these episodes, we are going to explore what a good subject would be, things that we need to get together for a successful podcast, and hopefully end up with something at the end that we're happy with. So with that being said, I think my friend Distance is still ready to come jump in. Let's see where he's at. Hey, are you still there?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Here, let's get you bigger. And let's switch to the right scene, and let's get started.
Oh, man, you're in my head.
I'm in your head.
Yeah, because I'm using my earbuds, so it feels like you're in my head.
Do you like it, or do you dislike it?
Oh, I love it. Are you kidding?
Okay, good. So, first things first. How was your day?
Fucking terrible.
I assume so. Yeah. It sounded like it was a pretty rough one, man. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Is it anything you want to talk about, or do you just want to like not think or talk about it?
Oh, it's not that big of a deal. We just had a massive infection of like several client computers and lots of our infrastructure of a Trojan that installs itself on a host computer and makes ACH money transfers to an account without authorization.
Holy shit.
No big deal. It only has some like intelligence built in where it like turns off the Malwarebytes service whenever you're trying to scan a computer, and it only infected not one but all of our servers.
Jesus. So was it a targeted attack, or did that happen to multiple companies today? Was that?
I think it might have been the same thing that a lot of people have had issues with recently. It's called TrickBot.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's not the one that like there was like a bunch of companies that got ransomed or some crap. It's not like that.
Okay.
It's just a Trojan like any other, except this one's a little more diabolical. Whoever wrote it's pretty fucking smart though, so gotta give him some credit for that, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is true. Even when it's like something kind of malicious and fucked up, and it is still sometimes like sometimes you admire the brilliance, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That does really suck though, man. That sounds fucking horrible.
Yeah,
So
it was not fun.
how were things resolved, or what happened when you left?
No.
What was okay?
No, so we have an enterprise license for Malwarebytes, and we actually ended up having to contact their support because with the enterprise license, you get like support from them to get some sort of like suggestions, I guess, on how to handle the situation.
Yeah.
So there are people in the UK that I left at 5:45, and that means at almost 11 o'clock UK time, one of our infrastructure leads was still there.
Damn.
And our director has been there like all day. I think she might be in the Denver office, but I mean, she was, obviously that's her, but when that's the person the bigwigs bitch to. So
Yeah.
you know,
Jeez, that sounds miserable though. That's really rough. That sucks,
Yeah.
man.
bet you wish you hadn't asked.
No. I'm glad I asked.
We were
I'm just hoping it
yeah,
doesn't make it worse by thinking more about it.
no, not really. I mean, I'm
Okay.
good now. Like, I also woke up this morning feeling kind of shitty already, and then I walked into a shit storm. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, when I left, things still weren't resolved. So
That
yeah,
sucks.
we're still just whatever. We'll deal with it.
Yeah.
But from and we were told to basically ignore everything else until we all did. We sort of like, um, what's that word? Crap. Have you gotten to that point yet where you forget words that you know?
Oh yeah, all the time. Um.
Delegated. There we go. We
Okay.
delegated a bunch of tasks out to people, and
Mhm.
um, we were pretty much all working on that all day, and including getting the servers cleaned up. And then
Mhm.
it just got worse and worse.
That sucks, man. That's
Yeah.
well. I hope tomorrow is better. I hope there's some sort of resolution that you guys can get to.
I don't care. Tomorrow's better. It just doesn't even matter to me at this point.
Well, shit.
What about you, man?
My day.
Yeah.
It was I had some I had some issues that were not nearly as dire as yours, but some big problems. I did a huge update yesterday where I changed what's called the price line of a lot of our products, and I made the mistake where I actually forgot to create the new price lines first. I just reassigned all the products to these 4 price lines that didn't actually exist at the time. So whenever people tried to enter a lot of orders this morning, none of them could be entered because the products were not pricing and there was insufficient data for them to be on a sales order. So that was a big fire.
And
Um,
everybody got mad at you because they think it's fucking magic, right?
well, no, I mean that's the awesome thing about my company. Like no one was mad at me, but it was just like a pain to fix because the way okay, so the field that I was updating the new price line to can only be 8 characters. 2 of the price lines that the CEO created and sent to me were actually 9 characters. But in the email, I was just like, hey, can we drop off the last letter of these? It'll be fine. I thought that whenever I mass loaded the spreadsheet to the ERP system, that it would just leave off that last letter and not cause an issue. That didn't exactly happen, so it caused an issue for the 2 price lines whenever I did finally create them and then redo the upload. So it was like, yeah, it was a big headache. And then like on top of that, there's just a big misunderstanding going on between the people that enter orders and my department as to what our like well basically my part in pricing and repricing is like my title is database manager. I'm responsible for the like the database of the information within the system, so the pricing information as it stands. Like when you go to enter an order, the system's going to look for like, okay, what price is correct for this customer on this product, and that's the price that it pulls to that sales order. It does that through multiple different methods. For a long time they had just been kind of manually repricing orders, and like if a product didn't come up with the right price, they would change it. We're trying to get away from that and get the actual prices uploaded in the system. So if it's like a one-time little fix where an item just didn't pull through correctly, but it doesn't need to be updated, they're supposed to go to their manager and get them to approve just a little price change. If it's something where the customer's price data is not pulling through properly, they're supposed to come to me and I'm supposed to look at the actual matrix and figure out what's going on. That has somehow not been communicated properly or not been understood properly, and I'm getting all of the emails for, hey, can you fix this one price on this one order and then I can send it off. Like, so it's just been like on top of all the things I normally need to do, there's just been like a lot of other stuff going on. It's actually like it's interesting. I was talking to my boss today about it. Like it's not I don't know, I wouldn't consider my job like super easy or anything, but I was able to stay completely caught up, completely on top of everything for the entire past year and a half that I've been here. I've always kept my inbox at 0 emails, and like my inbox works as like my to-do list. I know that when there's things in there, it's like, okay, I need to get this done, and then I can, file this email to the respective folder. This is the first time the past like 3 weeks I now have like probably 25, 30 emails in my inbox just like sitting there that are tasks I still need to be working on that are all things I'm currently doing. And it's just like, yeah, a lot of shit is I don't want to say it's gotten overwhelming. It's just like the pace has definitely changed quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, and that in some ways kind of a good thing because I mean it means that there's like a reason, a definite reason for you to be there. Like if you stay busy,
Hmm. True.
um,
Yeah. Yeah.
some people call it job security, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. There's no such thing as actual job security, but yeah, it is nice at least feeling like your position is wanted or
Yeah,
needed. I guess. Like yeah. Well, all right. So I mean, I guess the reason we're here, um, like I spoke about in the intro, were you listening to the intro? I didn't know if you were actually there or not.
nope, I hate you. Yeah, I listened to the whole intro, dude.
Okay, okay. So yeah, so the whole point is we want to eventually end up with a actual podcast. So it's kind of interesting that we're starting this with the goal to kill it, if that makes sense. Like this show, the Metacast, should end basically because it's supposed to eventually give us what we want to get out of it. It's like a real podcast, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like Die Hard sequels.
Go on.
We want them to end eventually.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, or Star Wars movies, right?
Yeah,
I
there's
think
that. I
we're
mean, at
yeah.
some point there will be like a hard like end to Star Wars, but probably not
Yeah.
because it's still gonna make money.
I don't know. You know that they like slowed everything down after was it Solo that didn't do too well? There was like the young Boba Fett movie planned, and that was like either delayed or permanently postponed.
Oh yeah, I don't know. That young Boba Fett actually sounded really stupid to me.
I,
I kind of liked Solo. I thought Solo was pretty good.
it was fine. Yeah, yeah, it was fine. Um, I liked it. It was like I don't know. I feel like after a while, the Star Wars movies are just kind of like kicking the dead horse, you know. But I don't know. As I said that, I kind of feel like I hypocrite for liking Marvel movies so much. So I don't know. I don't know if that's fair for me to say.
Yeah. But no, I feel you on that for sure. So I guess I, d- I don't even know how to start the conversation of like
Well, I've
the
got it.
whole
Okay. First things
podcast
first.
thing.
Well, first things first. Why don't we go through it in the order of things that would happen in the episode, right? So I would say the first thing we need to address is intro music. We need intro music. There needs to
Fucking
be.
metal.
Okay, well that was my question. It's like what do you picture when you hear podcast intro music? To you it should be metal or
Did you ever see that episode of Portlandia where they did the mockumentary on the band that did soundtracks for premium TV series?
no. I did not.
Well, it was really funny because my brother-in-law watched that episode together, and then we watched the first episode of Punisher
Okay,
on
okay.
Netflix, and
Mhm.
he looked at me, and he was like, "Dude, this sounds exactly like the fucking music in that episode of Portlandia." I was like, "I know, isn't it crazy?" Um, but I was just, if you haven't seen it, then it's weird, like semi like folky sounding stuff. Sometimes with the guy with a gravelly voice.
Mhm. Okay, okay.
I don't really know how to describe it, but I don't know. It's like it, it depends on the vibe that we want to give off. Like I don't
Mhm.
necessarily. I was just kidding about the metal thing. Obviously, I mean I love metal, but it's not necessarily an appropriate thing because unless we're gonna be like interviewing Rob Halford and shit, which we won't.
He's planned for
There's
week 4 actually. So we've got like a few weeks to kill before he would actually be there. Um
uh,
but no,
yeah,
no
he's the metal man.
I see that point though. So you're saying maybe my idea of starting at the top of the episode and working through that way might be flawed because the intro music actually should be based on the vibe we want to have or the feeling of the
Yeah,
podcast itself, right?
and the vibe we won't really know until we
Hmm.
know what the purpose or theme will
Oh,
be.
well that's okay, so that's the thing though, is we kind of have to go through this twice though. So what about the music for the Metacast? This is getting super self-referential. We actually have to like go through the process of building the things for this podcast first and then plan it for the next one.
Royalty free bluegrass for the Metacast.
Just royalty free. Okay, so well,
I think that's hilarious.
I wanted to go with I've got a couple examples of podcast intros that I like, and I want to get your opinions on some of these. Are you okay with that?
No. Fuck you.
Let's see. So hold on.
I
We
said
did,
no, God damn it.
but I know that
But
you're,
yeah, I would love to hear them. I would love to
I
hear
know
them.
that you're being sarcastic. Let me figure out
Duh.
again. Shit. All right. So hold on. Old man has trouble with technology. Um,
Don't hurt yourself, mate.
I need to share my screen. We figured this out. It worked, right? You were able to get audio. I shared application window.
I mean, to be fair, you figured it out. I was just standing here clicking on my video.
Why did even like I didn't figure it out. I just uh searched for the answer. And it was given to me. There we go. So I should be now sharing Chrome with you. Do you see a window? Maybe?
Yes.
Okay. Is it just a black screen?
I'm seeing just a black screen.
Oh
with a little
no.
with the play button on the bottom.
Oh, okay, good. Well then, okay. So okay,
Not
here
completely
is
black.
an intro that I am a big fan of. It's not exactly metal, but it is I guess like the classic rock band instrumentation.
This shit is big time!
Who is Randy?
Don't bring anyone mother into this.
Yo, mom in the fucking stand!
Welcome to your mom's house with Tom Segura. And
Christina.
I like the I like how the hard pan of the guitars.
your mom's house.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty groovy, just kind of, guitar. So I think that's a
Yeah, I dig it.
I think that's a
It's got, like,
decent.
popular like drum voices and shit, but there's like a guitar in there. Yeah, I dig that. That's kind of cool.
Do you like the announcer in there? Like, I wouldn't want that cheesy of a voice, but do you like there being an announcements in there, or do you like here? Hold on, let me go to my next example, because this is a different style of music, but I do think I also think that this style is cool, where all of the introductions are done afterwards. Let's see. Oh, I don't want that intro. I guess I could just go to one of the episodes, right? All right, so not this part. But I like this. Let's see. Where's the start? This.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth Podcast. This week brought to you by DoorDash.
I like that style. How it's just like a brief little, what was that? Maybe 15 seconds, probably. Not even. Maybe 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah. So I like the idea of making it rather short, but I cannot stand that music at all.
Okay.
All I
Okay.
can think of is like 1990s Saturday Night Live. And
That is pretty similar.
not
Yeah.
in a good way.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
not at all in a good way.
But as
It's
far
rare
as
that you're gonna get that like negative of a response from me on anything, but it's like,
that's
oh.
true. Okay. Well, that's point taken though. But as far as the style of having an announcer in the intro versus just short music that then you would do introductions at this point.
Yeah, so typically if I'm listening to a podcast, like I like the ones where it kind of starts out with like some sort of music, whatever it is that kind of like fits the style of, whatever is being done.
Mhm.
And then the music kind of fades out, and as it fades out, you hear the host start to talk. It's like, I'm on the such and such podcast. What we do here is yada yada, and on here I have blah blah blah. The theme of today's show is this stuff.
Okay. Okay.
For me, like I don't know, I think having an announcer in it, it's like too game showy and
To radio rock, to like.
yeah. And I like the kind of like more like groovy rock music or the sort of fusion rock like pop thing.
Okay.
In Your Mom's House podcast, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
But I don't having an announcer in it. It's just it makes each of the episodes yeah, like it just feels too much like a game show. Like that's yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
can see
just
that.
real quick little ditty.
I can
and
see
then
that.
starts up, and then whoever whatever. Then they give a quick intro. I like
How
that.
do you feel about okay, so shit. How do you feel about this style of intro? I like this a lot. I think it's very, very minimalist almost. Oh, that's an ad. Let's see here.
I was about to say I know that song.
Right here. Oh, no, that's still another ad. Right here.
More reviews than I think.
How do you feel about that? Kind of like, what is it?
I kind of want bourbon right now, but it's a fucking big ass bottle of Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
I think that particular type of music,
Mhm.
I like the way they kind of did it. I like the fact that they kind of, at least for the video portion, had like sort of some interesting sort of stuff in there that sort of pertained to the environment that they're
Yeah,
actually
like fit
in.
the aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, but the music itself was fucking awful. I really hate the faux old timey shit. It really annoys
Oh,
the
really?
crap out
Okay.
of me.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Because when you said
I
bluegrass,
think
I
that
was kind of
it's
picturing something that was like faux old
oh
timey.
yeah, like
Then,
just
but
for the Metacast, like I thought it
Mhm.
would be funny to just do like a quick little bluegrass thing just for this.
Okay.
But and that would be like knowing that eventually it would die and we'd move on to something
Mhm.
else.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, that's that's the point of the first bit is we need to figure out the Metacast. Then we'll move on to actually figuring out the real podcast. So for this, we're gonna do. I'm down with like something bluegrassy. I think that's actually a pretty cool idea. And I'm down with like short, maybe 15, 20 seconds, fade out, and then into you and I introduce ourselves. Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
And when I
Okay.
say I'm talking like the crazy shit, like where you hear a banjo getting plucked on every downbeat, like kind of thing.
Okay. Cool.
Like the shit like where you watch them play and you're like, I can't play that on any instrument. That kind of bluegrass.
Fast-paced bluegrass. Well, like if you were to guess a BPM, like are we talking like 220 BPM bluegrass? Like so not okay, a metal song but played on bluegrass instruments.
Hold on, I think I can probably figure out the beats per minute. Give me a second.
Okay. You have all the time you need. And while
Actually,
you're doing that, I'm gonna see if there's like metal song covered bluegrass. Is this a thing? Bluegrass metal covers. Okay. Oh yeah, this is definitely a thing. Like
Yeah, I'm talking like 90 beats
holy
per
shit,
minute.
90? Oh
90
okay.
to 100. Like there's some really fast bluegrass out there, dude.
I'm wondering what I'm about to experience right now.
Dude, have you seen this?
No, I
These
never
guys are, like,
have.
Norwegian or some shit. This is the Trooper, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I love this.
I wanted to see what metal music sounded like on bluegrass instrumentation. This is good. Yeah, this is fucking cool. Oh yeah, this is fucking sweet. Yeah. That's awesome.
You take my life, but I'll take yours too. You fire musket, but I'll run you through.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, I mean metal does sound good on bluegrass instrumentation, but I am very down with that. So fast-paced bluegrass intro, 10 to 15 seconds, then fade out. That's the very beginning. We introduce ourselves into the Metacast. Okay, so what do we need? We need segments then, with the goal being to eventually end up with, I guess like the way that I'm thinking about it is, every idea that we have for what we want the actual podcast to be about, we can try out as segments. if it works well enough as a short segment that we want it to be a recurring segment, it's like, oh shit, well, this is actually working. If it works well enough to be a recurring segment, then I think that gives us a like a good feeling that could be like a full episode, or maybe there's really something there. So I guess like trying to think of like some segments would be the first step. We've already talked about I think one of the good ideas that I had, which doesn't at all help us doesn't at all help us find a topic, but I do like the I brought up watching a like movie trailer and then making a prediction about it, and then eventually in the future you and I go see that movie together and then see if our predictions were right or wrong.
See how wrong we were.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Do you like that idea though? I think that would be a cool recurring segment.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think that would be pretty interesting. Of course, obviously there's a lot of spoilers, right? So that's like a whole section people might want to tune out for if they haven't seen the movie.
We could probably save that for like end of the episode then.
More funny?
What?
If we watch trailers for obscure movies from like the 80s that we'd never seen, and then actually watch the films themselves.
Try to guess what happened in the movie by watching the trailer? Okay, yeah, I'd be down with that. I'd be down with that.
Like in the 90s, it was a little self-explanatory though. Like it really kind of told you a lot. Like, somewhere in Baltimore, there's a town where everybody is, something like that. Like,
yeah.
Like, God, those
trailers used to be pretty
so
bad.
Those are so bad then.
I feel like trailers have gotten a lot better.
Yeah, that would be cool. And actually, since the thing that we just did, it would actually be kind of fun to find a weird cover every week.
Okay.
Like,
I'd be down with that.
Well,
just like
song by somebody.
Well, I guess we could do
the person's reaction to it.
I think
not necessarily though.
Well, what did you think about just maybe every week having a media share segment where either like 1 week I bring something, 1 week you bring something, we share back and forth, or each week we both bring something. And then of course it could be songs and covers, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be.
Yeah, just whatever media it happens to be. Yeah, that works. I think that's a good idea. That also creates variety too, and it doesn't like put us in like one little box where we're only doing like one specific type of video or whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
But like we have to try to limit the time of that segment too though. It's like I can't like bring you a 45-minute YouTube video. It's like, here dude, this is a documentary about particle physics, let's watch this. I want your opinion on it. Would you be into that kind of thing? Would you want to do a podcast about particle physics?
No.
Okay.
I used to hang out with a particle physicist. He was a Russian particle physicist named Joseph.
Why was he in a hurry?
Is that a joke? Why was a particle physicist in a hurry?
He was Russian.
Oh, but he tried to explain a bunch of shit to me, and I was just like, that makes no fucking sense. He'd be like, that's because it's particle physics. I don't do the Russian accent. Sorry.
Yeah, that was pretty Russian. That wasn't horrible.
Because it's particle physics. Hasta la vista.
That is spot on Russian.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe like under 10-minute video always. Try to keep it to usually like 3 to 5.
Yeah, I think that works. Yeah, that works.
Okay. I think that would be a fun segment. Always give us something to talk about and go off of from there. So if we were to do that, do you think it would be every week we both bring something, or we trade off each week where you would bring something and then you want the conversation like to be based on my reaction to it?
I'm sorry, man, you cut out. You would what now?
Do you think it should be every week we both bring something, or trade off week to week where it's show and tell? 1 week's my week, 1 week's your week.
I think it would be cool if we both did, but for the sake of time, we could just like pre-podcast figure out how long each clip is. And if we both brought something, and then if it's gonna end up being too long, we can just be like, okay, well, do yours next, that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. We could also we want to figure out, if the clip's 3 to 5 minutes, how long do we want the discussion about it afterwards to ideally be before, like, because I mean, you don't want to like, cut things off if they're naturally going longer, but it's like you kind of want to plan for allotting a budget of time to like specifically talk about or react to what we saw.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking probably no more than like 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so that sounds good for me. Okay, so that's like a 10-minute segment or 10 to 15-minute segment. Okay. Um. Now, I really liked when we were actually talking about trying to figure out real topics for the actual podcast. You had the idea of, or not the idea, you brought up the point that we want to provide value in more ways than entertainment, right?
Yeah.
I think like I totally agree. It's tough for me though. I guess like it's hard for me because I don't feel like I'm an authority in any subject. So it's hard for me to feel like I can like really talk to like to educate or whatever. But then I'm also trying to think of it in the way of uh like someone who's just like a an intermediate can still help a beginner, I guess. Like
Yeah. And even if, I mean, honestly, like, it's more help to me to, like, for instance, like Micro in StarCraft. Like, I'm
mhm.
not gonna watch fucking Solar playing StarCraft to figure out
Mhm.
my Micro.
Okay.
I'm nowhere near that. It's not even practical for me to try to run my Micro like that, guys. So, like, what? Like, it's useless.
Mhm.
So it's better to find someone who just kind of casually plays, or someone who's more accessible to me to be able to sort of like, because they're going to use tactics and methods that could actually work for me.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and I'm not like, I hate the idea of experts. That shit makes me sick.
Mhm.
Absolutely sick.
Okay.
Um, because you can know a whole lot about something, but the term expert, I think, is kind of like, it's misused. I think it's a rarity that, um, at, at work, people will call me the resident IT expert. I'm like,
Mhm.
hardly,
Mhm.
because I'm not.
Okay.
So yeah, the thing for me when watching stuff is with like mountain biking videos. It's really cool when I see, I forget his name, but there's a guy that does a lot of mountain biking stuff. It's really cool for me to see him struggle through things or have difficulty with stuff, and not
Yeah.
not pretend or like to get rid of any of the stuff that's not so great.
Mhm.
And just show a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the new video that I did, there's so much footage of me crashing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, and I'm doing another video. Like, I've done one and only one Century 100-mile road bike
Mhm.
ride on that bike back there. Woohoo!
Oh yeah.
And I'm doing a video to sort of like try to be helpful to people that have never done that before,
Okay.
because I've only done one, and
Mhm.
I'm not so far along that I don't know what it was like to be a beginner. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that you need to be an expert on anything, and in some ways, it can be wildly more entertaining somebody talking about trying something new and acting
Mhm.
a
But in
fool
some
or
regards,
anything.
it's like I felt like in sometimes you almost want it to be an expert. Like if going back to the joke we just made, if we were to want to do a podcast about particle physics or like astronomy or something, like I'm super interested in astrophysics. I think that's awesome. Like I like watching documentaries about it and learning about it. I can't really speak from a point of like knowledge myself on that subject much. So it's like
But knowing anything about astrophysics does not help the average viewer or the average person.
no, yeah, not at all. No, no. But at the same time, that's like it's a podcast that I would watch. Like I would. But if I were to go watch a podcast about astrophysics, I would watch Neil deGrasse Tyson Star Talk probably. It's like you would go to an expert for something like that, not random guy on the internet talks about space.
Yeah. But it's like, and just kind of, I guess, back to the point of value.
Hmm.
That yeah, it's cool to know stuff about particle physics, cosmology, astronomy, whatever, astrophysics. And that might be exciting or enriching for someone's life.
Hmm.
I mean, I think a lot of that stuff is cool too. I mean,
It's interesting.
NDT's my dude. I like me some Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Sean
but
Carroll. Yeah.
and that what's that guy Brian Cox? Is
Oh yeah, I
that his
love
name?
Cox. Yeah. Up
British guy?
phrasing.
Is it
Hold
Brian?
on. Yeah, it's
Are you
Brian. It's
googling it?
Brian Cox. No, I said that
Just
really
explain
poorly.
Cox in the middle of
I said I
Cox.
love Cox after yeah, that didn't work out well.
Don't we all though? We all love Cox.
Yeah, can't help it. But no, yeah, he's
Um,
like they're both like great at putting really complicated ideas in like layman's terms.
Mhm.
It's awesome. Like
Yeah, they can simplify things, unlike Richard Dawkins, who's like
mhm,
just incapable of. Yeah,
mhm.
but I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that I think the things that we would talk about that I think would really add value to someone's life aren't things we need to be an expert in. Because for me, um, look, I can use the purpose of my YouTube channel as an example. So my YouTube channel is not about riding a bike.
Mhm.
Uh, it's about it's about taking things that you perceive as limitations and things that other people want to when people want to make their limitations yours,
Mhm.
um, and the excuses that you think that you have, it's just a way to encourage people not to take those. It's more than riding a bicycle. I mean, the point is that um, I'm going to be in a wheelchair by 55. I'm super super weak. I have muscular dystrophy. Uh, I shouldn't be able to do this. A lot of people would tell me not to. My mother thinks I'm crazy. My sisters are constantly, uh, I don't know what the word is, maybe doubtful of it. They
Mhm.
just,
Mhm.
don't want me to fall off of a mountainside and things like that.
Yeah,
People I
yeah.
work with think I'm nuts. But the whole idea is like, I'm not trying to like brag and boast about how badass or hardcore I am. Like, I'm trying to show people how strong they are.
Okay.
Because you don't realize how tough you are until you get in a situation where you have to be tough.
Mhm.
So and the thing is that like I realize that not everybody gives a shit about like riding a bike.
Yeah.
In fact, most people think it's pretty lame, especially if it's a road bike. I mean, mountain biking is actually pretty cool to
Mhm.
a normal person,
Yeah, a lot of people
average
it's
person,
like
I
it's
guess.
something they learned when they were, 8 and never really paid attention to after that. They know that they can ride a bike and
Yeah,
that's about it.
yeah. There's an episode of Top Gear where they actually were I don't remember what it was. They were making commercials,
Mhm.
and the one that Jeremy Clarkson made on there was like, "Grow up, buy a car." It was about like it was an anti-bicycle ad, and
Gotcha.
each of the three guys on the show did their own. But people kind of look down on it. But
Mm.
it's like it's that whatever I think that we do or whatever our subject matter is, I think it's something that needs to be beneficial to people in their everyday lives. Like
Mhm.
for me, someone riding a mountain bike isn't necessarily going to help you in everyday life, but the idea of smashing through limitations and not accepting excuses that you think that you have
Yeah.
is a valuable thing, and that can help
Yeah.
people if they're willing to see that. But maybe some people aren't. I don't know.
Well, there's more than just the overt subject matter there. There's the yeah, the struggle and what's happening behind it that's the main point. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just an example. I mean, it's not. It's something that I would that if I'm participating in something, it's something that I would want to. That's how I would want it to be.
Mhm.
The other thing is that if we're doing a podcast, man, I think that having guests on is a good idea. And the thing is
Yes.
like I feel like between the two of us, we probably know some pretty interesting people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I would say you know more than me, but that's not a bad thing. But yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely want to bring guests on. That is definitely a goal.
and
Um
the cool thing is you know for the way that we do this, it's not like there's like a studio and someone's going to come into it. I mean, we could easily like, write letters to people. I mean, there's plenty of YouTube people that I would
Mhm.
want to have on. There's plenty of Instagram people that would probably love to come on here. Um, and even if they wouldn't love to, um, hopefully they'd at least make the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But it really depends, like what our purpose really is. And another thing is like it might be helpful for us to look at or talk about podcasts or YouTube channels,
Yes.
or even like Instagrams, and examine what their purpose is, and then that can maybe sort of help us figure out what it is that we want to do.
I was actually going to bring that up. I was going to basically assign homework for each of us, where I would give you a podcast that I like to listen to or watch, and you watch like the first like 20 minutes or so, and then you do the same for me, and then next week we both come back with feedback about what we liked or disliked about the other person's episode that they gave us to check out.
But the other thing is that I also don't. I would like to avoid getting too caught up in what other people are doing,
Yes.
because if you just do the same thing everyone else is doing, well, then it's like you don't really stand out in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. The point's not to like to copy them, more to just like be inspired by what the I don't want to use the term meta, but like what the like what the environment of podcasts are, what successful podcasts do. I guess you emulate it in some way without like copying it, just taking inspiration.
This is really weird, but I like the idea of having people come on and allowing them to be anonymous and telling us about the most fucked up thing that's ever happened to them.
Okay, I could, yeah, like an anonymous almost like an anonymous confession or anonymous story time type thing. Like I'm down with
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
not necessarily something that they're ashamed of, or something bad that they've done, but something
Hmm.
shitty that's happened. Because I think that there's a lot of people that don't talk about the things that I just realized I have a really unattractive thinking face. Um, People don't talk about the things that have happened to them, difficult things that they've been through, and I think that there's possibilities
Mm.
that it would be helpful to other people to hear some of that stuff.
And do you think
Um,
the reason why a lot of people don't talk about it is because they're not anonymous? Is it something that's like hard to talk about?
yeah, I think people don't want to relive stuff.
Mhm.
There's actually a dude that I was actually just he works for Black Rifle Coffee Company, and he wrote a documentary, or did a documentary, I guess, called For the 25,
Okay.
where a bunch of people that were deployed with him in Afghanistan, I think. In this documentary, they basically relived the horror of it, and they talked about like all
Hmm.
this really difficult stuff that happened,
Hmm.
and they kind of did it together.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that he said that he's had a lot of people, message him and stuff, and talk about how it like changed their life, or it kind of like helped them get through um, reintegrating into society, or help them to understand that the
Mhm.
shit that happened when they were deployed, when they were overseas, happened to other people, and that sometimes other people have the same experience of driving down the highway and the habit of looking to the left and the right to make
Mm.
sure that they don't see anybody with an RPG,
Mhm.
or someone like leaning out of a building with a rifle, or
Mhm.
looking on the side of the road wondering if there's something that looks like a lump or a dip in the sand that could be like a improvised explosive device. And I just thought it was cool, like that he took some friends and they went through an unpleasant experience together, and like
Mhm.
relived it in a way that was beneficial for other people. Because I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff like that you don't know, like, and this is a weird thing that I said maybe like a year ago to a friend of mine, that if you look at people, it's like every human that's walking around is like they're like this little container of suffering.
Okay. Okay.
Like they're this little package of a bunch of awful shit that's happened. Why the fuck does my nose only itch like this when I'm on camera? God damn it. Oh, how fucking embarrassing. I'm drinking water.
If you want, you can warn me, and I can like, when you time it, I can like quickly switch scenes, and like when the stinger's on, you can scratch your nose, and it's not really that noticeable. You know, it covers the screen for like a split second.
It's a good idea. Like I could just like do like a little signal. Like, did you ever see Team America?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
The signal.
Yeah.
He's making fun of us.
It's a good signal.
Smart ass motherfucker.
But no,
Actually, you know what? I have a better idea. I'll be right back. Like literally, like
Sure,
30
that's fine.
seconds.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. So I like where we're going here. I do like the idea of adding benefit, not necessarily from a point of like being an expert, quote unquote, or like a point of authority and educating. More like we're all kind of in this together. We don't know what we're doing. Here's an idea that we're going to explore together. I like that.
All right, in a minute, I'm not gonna care if my nose is itching.
Welcome back. Why's that? What you got there? Oh shit! What you got there?
No reason.
Jesus! What is that? Is that
Scotch, man.
Scotch? Jesus, that's
Yeah, drink this. It tastes like a basement.
See, that doesn't sound appealing, man.
Lefroy. Well, yeah. Well, you don't like this stuff. Of course, it's not appealing to you.
I don't like the flavor of basements.
It's weird, man. It's fucking weird. Well, people like Gruyere cheese or blue cheese because it's funky and gross. It's like a weird thing that people just kind of like somehow.
People like me because
it's
I'm
also
funky
fun.
and gross, you know.
People like me because I'm funky.
I think that's my main
Slap of
appeal.
the bass, man.
Yeah.
Slap of the bass.
But no, what I was saying while you were gone was I do like the idea of adding benefit through it's not like education, because we're not talking from a point of like, you know, authority or anything, but more like exploring ideas together that we all need to address. I do think there is a benefit in reliving situations or too that were maybe negative or
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
There's just something really important to me about knowing that people are much more similar at their core. There's a lot of things about us that we're not alone in doing or thinking, or not alone in having happened to us. I mean, there are things that that you can have a sense of camaraderie about, like that. You know, I've been through the same thing, and there's plenty of people that have different communities to get into, or that, you know, they can find somebody that has been through the same kind of thing, and it can be helpful. Like, I've actually thought about making a video of like, how do you know if you have Becker's muscular dystrophy, and like making it kind of humorous, because like anytime you drop something, it's like a fucking crisis. Like it's like,
oh
no! Like, there's like all kinds of shit that happens, and it's like, yeah, man, this is gonna be a great night. No, you see like a massive staircase, and it's like, fuck. And I was actually gonna get Craig to help me with one of those, like, you know, massive staircase, like, all right, buddy, hop on. And have him carry me up the steps.
That's funny.
Which
Yeah,
actually,
that'd be a
we've
good
actually
bit.
done before. We've done that before.
That's funny.
But because I think that would be kind of funny, because it's a way to like be like, have other people that like have been there and have had the same problems, like they can see it, and it's also kind of humorous in some way.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, like, have something kind of personal in there too. You know, just stuff like that.
I like that. I like that. I like the oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, you. Please, you.
Well, I mean, I was going to it's kind of funny because I was going to talk about something you talked about. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. I'm interrupting you with yourself. I liked the ideas that you I don't remember if you texted me the other day, or if it was on Discord or what we spoke about, or where we spoke about it. But you brought up like just kind of exploring different concepts, like exploring self-esteem, exploring masculinity, exploring like these concepts that are kind of sometimes loaded terms, or sometimes terms that have like baggage with them or whatever. And I like the value side of that is being like, so first exploring the term, what it means, um, I guess like what it means to society at large, what it means to us, if we agree on a meaning between the two of us, and then exploring if um trying to improve that value or that trait in us would be beneficial, I guess. Like that could be like the self-improvement part of it, or the value could come from that.
Or even like developing an awareness of that thing, because there's certain things that like people just don't really think about from day to day
Mm-hmm.
about who they are and what they're doing. And um, I also think it would be fun to discuss certain people, particularly ones that are misunderstood.
Okay.
Um, I think it would be cool to have a way to talk about people who seem on the fringes of different things, who
Mm-hmm.
seem to be extremely like politically or socially left or extremely politically or socially right, and to maybe examine some of the stuff that they have to say
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't need to be dismissed by everybody because it's ridiculous.
Sure, I'd be down with that. That
Just
sounds like an
because some
interesting
people say
part.
stupid shit sometimes doesn't mean that everything that they have to say is terrible. I mean, Sammy Hagar has written some of the worst fucking song lyrics ever. But
Yeah, that's kind
he's
of
got a
true. Yeah.
couple. No, seriously, the worst lyric ever written is "Time will tell if we stand the test of time."
Um, I don't know. You're. It sounds like you're begging to be proven wrong.
Proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We're right.
Like
Is there a worse song lyric than that?
dude, there are
Next one is your girlfriend's favorite song.
there are plenty of worse song lyrics than that, man. Have you ever heard of "The God of All Texas"? I think you're this is the God of All Texas, or the goat. This is something that I'm excited to show you for the first time. So are the lyrics in this song better or worse than Sammy Hagar? The look on your face is priceless right now. So how did that make you feel about yourself?
The thing is that's purposely bad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Whereas Sammy Hagar was trying to write a serious song, David Lee Roth is way better.
That's
I have a feeling that some people would be alienated by this conversation.
probably, yeah. It's one of those like divisive points, right? Where people pick one kind of people pick a team, get really tribal.
Okay, how long ago was this put in the chat room?
Oh, the spam message? I don't know. Usually.
That's hilarious.
So we already have two segments.
I'm so sorry, that song.
It's good, right? I actually meant to bring up their smashing hit single. I actually didn't
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just I just thought about it for a second, and I lost my shit.
No, you're fine. You're fine because I actually played the wrong video for you. I want you to hear their smashing hit single. This is their biggest song, and it stars the real lead singer of the band right there. What's going on there is that's the star of most of their. Yep.
Can you quack like a duck when you suck?
Mm-hmm.
Can you buck like a horse when we fuck?
Can you?
Can you take every inch of your butt? Can you shit on my chest for good luck? Can you quack?
Oh my god,
Can you
seriously?
quack like a duck?
That's
All right.
a real fan right
So
there.
that is that's their smashing hit single. Can you quack like a duck when you suck? I think is the line. Can you quack like a duck when you suck? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. There's a band here they were kind of like a technical death metal / metalcore band called The Massive,
Mm.
and they had a song called "No Seriously" because it's just that big.
That's a good song title.
They were a lot of fun actually. I destroyed someone's living room because of them one time.
Nice. Well, here we're starting to get close to our last segment here. We need to start wrapping this up. So I did want to go ahead and get our first trailer prediction out of the way. So are you down to check that out?
Sure, yeah.
We're gonna watch a trailer. This movie comes out on July 2nd, and we will go see it soon.
If this movie fucking sucks, oh my god, it's gonna suck.
I don't know, but we're gonna go see it together, and we will. So the goal here is, after watching the trailer, we each need to come up with one concrete prediction that we have based on the trailer. That can be like, once like an actual, like, once we go see the movie, the prediction will either be verified right or wrong, and we're gonna keep a running tally of how many correct guesses each of us have.
Did you just say a running towel-y?
You want to get high?
It sounded a lot like
No, running tally. TALLLLIE. Why?
TALLLLLLLLYE.
E.
Yeah, that's how you spell
All right. So the movie that we are going to watch the trailer for is Trolls World Tour. No, I'm just kidding. That was the trailer before the trailer. Okay, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Oh my god. Fuck me.
All right.
Okay,
The
I actually
next-
wanna see this movie.
Exactly. I think we both want to. I think we were both going to either way. So.
That was so good. Hey, sorry I'm late. Happy.
You look nice.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. New dress?
Yes, it is. How'd you know?
It's interesting to have an Aunt May that knows he's Spider-Man. That's kind of weird.
What just happened?
It is strange.
Yeah.
Planning a trip?
Mm-hmm. Going to Europe. School trip.
Did you get your passport?
Peter Parker here to pick up a passport, please.
I like the alliteration.
Pack your suit.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking
I
hilarious.
just want to go on my trip with my friends. Europe doesn't really need a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. You look really pretty.
Therefore, I have value.
No, that's not
I'm
right.
messing with you. You look pretty too.
I like her in this as like the quote-unquote MJ or whatever.
That reminds me when I first fell in love. I had
She
just
reminds me of a
finished coffee.
comedian. I can't remember her name. She was on Parks and Rec, I think, maybe.
I don't know who you're thinking of.
You, Spider-Man.
You're Nick Fury.
That is Nick
Clothes
Fury.
on. Let's go for a ride.
Is he gonna be okay like that?
Might want to turn him over so he doesn't swallow his tongue.
All right.
That's
So
a myth.
yeah,
I think Nick Fury
I
just
did.
hijacked our summer vacation.
You can't choke on vomit though.
Awesome.
If you're on your back.
Yep.
That's how we lost Hendrix, man.
Really?
Gifts,
Yep.
Parker.
I think so. At least. Maybe it's just an urban legend. I don't know.
Are you going to step up or not?
I'm so excited for Mysterio, man. This is gonna be so cool to see.
You're all alone.
So isn't this supposed to wrap up the whole thing?
Well, this is kind of. I mean, this is the last movie in the Infinity Saga, officially. Yeah.
You don't want any part of this.
I love that they used the actual like fishbowl helmet too. That looks so fucking sick. That looks so good.
Who is that guy?
He's like Iron Man and Thor rolled into one.
He's no Spider-Man.
What is it with you and Spider-Man?
What? He looks out for the neighborhood, has a dope suit, and I really respect him. Sup, dickwad?
All right, so I actually fucked up and played the wrong trailer, but it was still the point was there. I hope that you've actually seen the most recent trailer, but
I don't think I have.
there was a
I can
trailer.
watch it later.
Well, then I definitely fucked up. But yeah, there was a trailer that came out after Endgame, where the trailer even starts with Tom Holland going like, "If you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, do not watch this trailer yet," because the trailer like spoils the end of Endgame.
Well, I think I have seen that because the trailer that I did see, like I saw another one. I don't know if it was that one or not.
Well, okay.
Obviously, there's some clips from that one in it, but okay.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. is going to show up at some point.
Do you think he will be like a hologram?
I don't necessarily think he's going to be alive, but there's going to be some flashback or something, and Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in the film for at least a few seconds in some shape, form, or fashion.
Okay, hold on. I got to clarify though. Old footage of him from another movie or actual new footage only filmed for Spider-Man Far From Home? Because if there's like, a scene from...
I'm talking like any footage at all, period. Like in the form of a flashback, like from another movie.
Okay.
There's gonna be some Tony Stark in there somehow.
Okay, I think that's a pretty safe bet. But I think that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good prediction. Yeah, that's almost like a is that your real prediction?
Why not both? Robert Downey Jr. will be in there at some point, and Nick Fury.
Shit.
Dies.
Okay. That's putting some money down. I like that.
Samuel L. Jackson says the F word, obviously.
No, there's no way that's happening.
He's gonna actually say it. Watch.
They've never let that. They started at the end of Infinity War.
No, I think he's gonna go for the gold this time. So
but yeah,
your predictions?
well, real quick, I wanted to address your question. So this is like the official last movie in the Infinity Saga. It's basically, from what I understand, you remember how most Marvel movies had a like an end credit scene? They kind of led to what was going to happen next.
Yes.
I feel like this movie is the end credit scene for the whole Infinity Saga, if that makes sense. How Endgame didn't have an end credit scene. This is kind of like the teasers of showing where it's going to go next in the next saga. That's what I'm thinking this is. Like more like, like Infinity War was the climax, Endgame was the resolution, and Far From Home is the epilogue at the end. That'll, kind of like, yeah. But my prediction, I think, okay, so they go into it more in the trailer that I meant to play that I kind of fucked up and didn't play. But so the title Far From Home, they talk about Mysterio being from another dimension, and Nick Fury says that the snap, the energy from the snap like tore a hole in our reality, and that there's a multiverse basically, and that there are there are multiple universes, and that Mysterio is from one of those other universes. I predict that that's bullshit. I don't think that he is actually from another universe. I think that that's like a lie that he's got Nick Fury to believe, and I think that of course he's a villain. It's like always from the comic books, he's always been a villain. So they show him in that trailer as like working with Spider-Man, and they kind of like, I think it's all a red herring to make you think that he's a good guy. But yeah, so I'm assuming that he's lying about all of that. Is that too safe of a prediction?
I don't think it's that safe. It's not as crazy as Nick Fury dies.
Yeah, it's definitely not that crazy. I need to make a second prediction that's even better. I say
make more sense if Happy died though. Is that his name?
Yeah, that would make more sense. Oh man, I really should have played that other trailer because there was another moment that I wanted to. Damn, I really fucked up, man. I dropped the ball on this one. Real quick, I need to pull up a moment from this other trailer because one of my predictions.
The Nick Fury dies.
Yes, that
the
one.
Spider-Man Far From Home trailer is about to play, but if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame yet, stop watching because there's some serious spoilers about to come up. But if you have seen Avengers Endgame, enjoy the trailer.
I think I have seen this one.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too.
So my prediction is Iron Man's gonna die.
Wait, what?
I think Iron Man is gonna die.
Iron Man's already dead.
I think Tony would have done what he did if
That's the joke.
he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
I get it.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
Oh.
Burn. Sick burn.
Keep up the good work because I am going on vacation.
Yeah, he's going to Italy.
Heads up. Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't
don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
You don't do that.
What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo's. Oh,
I think MJ really likes me.
That reminds me when I first fell in love.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man.
This is a better trailer, all around. I like this much better.
This is Mr. Beck.
Yeah, here we go.
Could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world, Beck, is from Earth, just not ours. The snap to our hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
There's gotta be someone else you can use.
What about Thor?
Off-world.
Captain Marvel. Unavailable. But I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
What do you want, Peter?
I want to go back on my trip with the girl who I really like and tell her how I feel. MJ, I
am Spider-Man.
No, of course I'm not.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
You're right, you may not be ready, but this is my responsibility. Saving the world requires sacrifice. Sometimes people die.
How fucking casual
I just always feel like I'm putting my friends in danger. The world needs the next Iron Man.
You're going to step up or not?
That scene is so badass. That is such a good shot. I look, and they always have to end it with a little laugh, of course. Like, here's the funny part.
You work for Spider-Man? I work with Spider-Man, not for Spider-Man. New plan.
All right, so now I can actually talk about my two real predictions, I guess, because they were brought up in that trailer specifically. So the multiverse thing, I've got a prediction. I don't know if this movie will finalize it though, but I do think for the future of Marvel movies, the future of Marvel Studio movies. Jeez, I'm burping like crazy. There it is. Okay, the future of Marvel Studios movies. I think they will use the multiverse as the way to bring in the X-Men and Fantastic Four. I think that's how they will make it make sense that they exist, because it, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't really just have mutants spontaneously appear and they wouldn't have helped in any of the huge events that they've shown us over the past decade. Like,
yeah, or you know what? We should go see that fucking Phoenix movie because it's going to be terrible.
oh, see, I would just predict that it would be bad, and that would be an easy prediction.
Well, that's not a very prediction.
But no, so that's my prediction for
I
the
think they're gonna
future.
use
Oh,
it.
go ahead.
I think they're going to use the multiverse for a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's lazy. Really lazy. I hate that whole alternate universe shit.
Well, it's been kind of a hallmark of Marvel for literally like the entire time it's been around, though. So it's like it would be weird if they didn't end up using it. But
it's a lazy plot device, and it's never going to stop being a lazy plot device.
I like it. But my other prediction is that scene where MJ was like, "You're Spider-Man." It's pretty obvious. I don't think that was real. I think that there's a chance that in this movie, Peter actually goes to another version of Earth, and that's not his MJ.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever see the show Lois and Clark?
The weird like Superman show that. Yes.
It was like really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was on like ABC. There's an episode where he ends up in there's like some weird virtual world that Lex Luthor creates. It's a really fucking weird episode, but
that is weird.
There's a Clark Kent there that is also Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So then like Lois ends up in this weird virtual world and convinces him to be Superman, basically. It doesn't make any sense. Like it's written fucking strangely. But there's a scene where he dresses up and does this whole thing and like shows up and saves the day at the Daily Bugle. And then one of the characters like looks at Superman and goes, "Clark?" It's like, why aren't you wearing your glasses? You know, like, because you just take off your fucking glasses and you're a different guy. Reasons why you like Marvel better than DC, because shit like that. But
That is
it's
one of
sort of the
them.
same thing. That makes sense. That would be interesting if that. Okay, that's an interesting prediction.
Okay. All right,
Who's gonna
so
die?
we've got some real predictions for that. So that's something for the future. So I'm thinking we do that segment. Maybe like it's not realistic to do it every week because that would mean that we would have to be seeing unless we did it with like the old movies a lot and watched them. But we'd have to watch a movie basically every week to keep up with that. We'd have to make a prediction and also see the movie to keep current.
And some of those movies will be shitty.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean,
So
some of the movies that we do for this will be shitty, but whatever.
yes, yeah, but yeah. So my idea is to do it maybe once a month. So we've got July's out of the way already. Then, so we've got 2 segments that we can experiment with next week. We're gonna work with the like exploring ideas and concepts and developing like an awareness of them and how we can if it would be beneficial, use them to better ourselves.
Yeah.
I like that. So
We
do you
should
have
invite a guest on to discuss this with us?
do you okay, do you think we should have a guest next week? Are we ready to do that?
Sure. Who do you know? Would do come on?
Probably. I could ask him. Yeah.
Is he lurking right now?
I don't know. I do not. My screens are not set up like they normally are. I do not think he is here. No. So I'll try to talk to someone instead of getting a guest. But if not, I definitely want to go with the two topics that we've got here as segments and see how they work. So what idea or concept would you want to explore next week? Do you have an idea of one that you would be that you would want to start with?
Yes.
What's that?
Well,
or do you want to just not mention it on air until next week?
Yeah, it's
I'm done
more
with that.
fun because like I want to show you a video that will result in us talking about that theme.
Ooh, but okay, so are you saying you don't want me to even know before that episode?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I want it to
okay.
just be like a video that I know will result in us talking about that thing.
But I
There's
can't.
no way that you'll talk about anything else after this video.
But I can't title the episode in a way that would make sense about that subject matter if I don't know what it is first.
I'll tell you right before.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, so we'll have
do you actually want to prepare or like?
I ideally wanted to prepare, but the whole point of this is to explore how things work. So I'm totally down with not preparing and seeing how that works. Like that's fine with me. Okay, so we're gonna explore a topic that you have in mind, and we will have a lengthy discussion about that, and then misunderstood people.
Misunderstood people.
Yeah, that was another idea you had for a topic, or like for a segment. Yeah, for a segment.
I was thinking that in my head as I was saying other words. So it's interesting that that's like where you got to with that.
I tried to put it in my own words and sum it up in a way. But yeah, I think that would be cool to pick a person, and we'll find someone that maybe has a good. It sucks because it's like we want to watch a short clip of someone, but it's really hard to encompass their ideas in a short clip. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to really. We're gonna have to, I think, do more of our own legwork and homework in like researching that person beforehand to come like to the episode with an idea, I guess.
You know, I have one person in mind already.
I know exactly who you want. In your opinion, the most misunderstood person is Adolf Hitler, right?
Yep.
Okay. And we could do that next week. I will read Mein Kampf again. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, have you actually read it?
No. Jesus. What kind of Jew do you think I am?
The kind that reads.
Yeah. No. But no, I'm assuming either Jordan Peterson or Ben Shapiro, right? Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson. Right? Ben Shapiro is a little too barbed.
Well, yeah, he's definitely he's an asshole, but I think he's still very misunderstood. I love that people call him a Nazi. Like, I think that proves that people misunderstand him. Like,
yeah, and he's definitely not a
yeah.
That's pretty fucking clear.
Yeah, he's one of the people that the Nazis would have very much disliked. They would have had problems with him.
So
yeah.
Do you want to play something?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna we're gonna wrap up here in a couple minutes.
Thing?
Yeah, I am gonna create that video. But if you want to play a couple games first, I'm definitely down. So real quick before we finish this, I do want to wrap up with So we talked about the plan for next week as far as segments that we are going to talk about. But plan for next week, what should I get done? Would it be cool to have the intro music with an intro animation? Should that be the goal for like logistically? Like I want to set a goal like of something for me to accomplish each week and get it done by the next episode. So do you think that would be a good goal?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the intro would be a good goal. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So intro.
Oh, no, where that came from.
Intro animation and music. Okay. Well, I think that was a good first episode, man. So episode 0 of the Metacast is